So when I say that I think I know what makes a human mind tick, I reckon I've got a bit of an idea. But I want to tell you this one last, just heartwarming story. Love this girl. If we could clone this girl, we would. I would just go in and buy a dozen. And Brahman's not her real name, but she came to us, single mother of 2 kids under 5, sexually molested earlier on in her life. She believes that was the incident that brought her to serious cervical cancer issue. Of course, we can't prove that. Went on to find the soulmate. Isn't that funny? She realised a dream. Have a go at this. She built in Canberra, near where we live, a women's support network with over 15,000 members by herself as a single mother. And got in bed with her sister and built an award-winning cash-spitting business. So can you have it all? Absolutely. Does that make sense? Okay, could you do what they've done? Yeah, you could. You could. The only thing you need is the tools. So what I want to do is 3 things with you today. And we'll run through this as quick as we can and then get on with it. I want to show you how to find and eradicate the blockages that create unbalance or struggle in your life. Does that make sense? In other words, if you're not successful in every part of your life that you want to be successful in, then what I'm saying is that you've got a blockage to that and you just need to remove the blockage. You don't really need to learn a whole pile of techniques and processes, you've just got to get a blockage out of the way. The other thing I want to do is demonstrate to you in the shortest possible time how we can pull a blockage out of someone. And if we've got time today and if I talk as fast as we can actually do it right here in front of you. Will that be fun? See someone get unblocked? May not be you, but when I say we got any volunteers, don't be too slow getting your hands up. And interesting enough, March has said, well, I forget who it was who said that the personal development industry is, it was John Childers who said third most popular product is personal development. And what I know is that we're in the personal development industry, and that industry has grown 40% per year for the last 5 years. And if you're not in it, that's okay. I reckon I've got a way that you could be. Would you be interested in that? Okay, so let's dive into it. You ready? I've got to give you an hour. I've got to give you about a day in an hour now. So if you don't get all the things that you want by just sheer luck, in other words, if you're not born healthy, just lucky, then you might be born unhealthy. So if we get luck out of the picture and say, how are you going to generate the results that you want, then your major resource is going to be you, isn't it? Yep. Specifically, which part of you? Your brain. So if we represent your brain with this circle, then we're talking about 200 billion brain cells. Does that sound like a lot? It ought to. If each one of these brain cells was $1 and you spent $1 every second, which is $3,600 per hour, and you spent this $3,500 per hour, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, how many of you, A, would be having fun? And B, can you figure out how long it would take you to spend it? In other words, how long until you run out? If you haven't got a calculator with you, you're just going to have a guess. So any guesses how long it would take you to spend it? 6,790 something years. Now, do any of you feel like your brain's not quite operating at that level? In fact, if you had a day where someone offered you $5 for your brain, you'd take it. And feel like you'd ripped them off. So your brain operates on 3 different levels. You'll be familiar with the labels that we put on these as soon as you see them. So they operate simultaneously at this level. You're familiar with these labels? How many of you are familiar with this stuff? Okay, so we can move that over the side and have a look at what happens. So what happens in the conscious brain is that you talk to yourself. So hands up if you're aware that you talk to yourself. That's normal. I've got a psychologist friend in Brisbane who says 2 out of 3 Australians are normal. I hope he's wrong. We probably need more than that. In fact, let's just test him. What I want you to do is have a look at the person on either side of you for a second. Just take a quick glance at the person on either side of you. Okay, that'll do. I didn't say start a new relationship, just... Okay, if both of them looked all right, guess who the problem is? All right, so what you'll have in your head is that conversation running all the time. In your subconscious, what you'll have is a combination of pictures, thoughts, sounds, feelings, that whole 5 senses thing. Are you aware of that? Okay, so I'll get you to use your memory and we'll illustrate. So I want you to take your mind back to the last time you're down the beach and tell me what you get in your head. It's not word, is it? The first thing you're going to get is a smell or a taste or whatever, so one of the five senses, plus a feeling about whether it was any fun or not. So it only takes 10% of your brain to run consciously. It only takes 50 or it takes a massive 50 or 60% to run subconsciously. Does that make sense? This is like comparing text and graphics. Does that work for you if I use a computer analogy? So text versus graphics. So we can run into a problem every now and then. If you've got 10% telling you to go to one direction and you've got 50 or 60% telling you to head in the other direction, what do you reckon is likely to happen?